Hey YouTube, Kirswick here, bringing you all an update to my Dark Magician Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for December 2025. Wanted to finish up the year with an update to the Dark Magician deck. I made an update to the deck for Genesis format about a month ago, but now I wanted to update the actual TCG version of the deck, where we're able to use more relevant cards in the deck, including powerhouses like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and not have to worry about point system, just going off of the actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list for this list. But still, very happy with the overall power of the deck and the many different cards you can run in it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So starting off with the main cards of the deck, we're running 2 copies of Dark Magician. 2 copies is really all we need for the lineup of our main go-to boss monster of the deck. It can be summoned back from the graveyard. It can be searched out very easily with other cards in the deck. You really need 2. 3 really clogs up the actual, lineup of what we can use in the deck. So 2 Dark Magician is fine for the Ultimate Wizard in terms of attack and defense. For our Ritual Monster, Illusion of Chaos, we're also running 2 copies of this card, mostly because this card can be searched out with other spell options we run in the deck and then recycled back into the deck to then be searched again with the multiple copies of the spell that we run, and with it just being able to ritual summon it with chaos form, or we have once again other ritual options for summoning out this card in the deck also, but then being able to reveal it in our hand and then add a Dark Magician or non-ritual monster that mentions it from our deck to our hand, then place this card or 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Illusion of Chaos, it could be another card in the hand, but still just a good card to make use of for that play. 3 copies of Magician's Soul, more special summon power, being able to send up to 2 spell or trap cards from your hand or field to the graveyard, draw them any cards, and if this card's in your hand, you can send 1 level 6 or higher spellcaster from your deck to the graveyard, activate one of these effects. You can either special summon this card or send this card to the graveyard to special summon a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard. So if you have those monsters set up, you can use Magician's Soul as another resource, whether it be for draw power or grabbing back the Dark Magician or the Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard to the field. And the last of the 3 ofs for our monsters being 3 copies of Magician's Rod. When it's normal summon, you can add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists the card Dark Magician and its text. During your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap or effect while this card's in the graveyard, you contribute 1 spellcaster to add this card to your hand, giving you more of a recycle power, but also being able to add some of our lower numbered cards we run in the deck, like Dark Magical Circle, from our deck to our hand for us to use also for this search. With our 1-ofs for our main deck engine being 1 copy of Timaeus, the United Dragon. Along with Timaeus, we're also running the Eye of Timaeus, so we just have the 2 different fusion options for getting out our different dragon monsters, as well for the summon, needing the Dragon Effect Monster plus Dark Magician for the added fusion summon of some of our bigger fusion monsters like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. The 1 Apprentice Illusion Magician with the overlay power. We can also summon out Dark Magician Girl, and then, as I said, get out some rank 6 monsters from the extra deck also. The 1 Magician of Dark Illusion for more special zone power, and this monster also helps with some of our Xyz plays that we can go into in the extra deck. And then the last of our engine monsters being the 1 copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon, along with Timaeus, just having this monster as an additional fusion option for send cost for the spell Red Eyes Fusion, which we're also running in the deck, can send Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon from the main deck to the graveyard to once again summon out our Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. With the rest of the main deck monsters just being a small hand trap lineup consisting of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, running Infinite Impermanence for the trap lineup as well for the hand traps, but just a small lineup to not clog up the actual main deck monster spots too much. For the spells, 3 copies of Soul Servant, just a quick play spell. Place 1 card from the top of the deck from your hand and deck or graveyard that is Dark Magician or specifically list it, and then except for Soul Servant, and during the main phase you can banish this card, draw cards equal to the number of Palladium monster, Dark Magician, and or Dark Magician Girl with different names on the field or in the graveyard, so being able to draw back the cards we place on the top of the deck plus some additional cards also. The 2 copies of Dark Magical Circle, more search power, and then also having a banish option every time we summon Dark Magician back onto the field, and while this continuous spell is there, but we can also use this card as a send-off for draw power if we have multiple copies for cards like Magician's Soul to draw into other cards. The 2 copies of Magician's Salvation for the set of our Eternal Soul, which will then be used to protect and special summon back our Dark Magician also, with more of the one-ofs being the Eye of Timaeus for more fusion power for our dragon monsters, including Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, which can then help also protect our spell and traps, including Eternal Soul. The Secrets of Dark Magic is more of the fusion and ritual option in the deck, along with Magicalized Fusion for more banishing fusion power for some of our bigger monsters like Quintet Magician. The one Red Eyes Fusion for, once again, summoning out one of our best fusion monsters in the extra deck, being Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And then also the one of text for these spells being 1000 Knives and Dark Magic Attack. I'm always a fan of these cards in the deck, just destruction power while controlling Dark Magician as well. If you didn't want to run these cards, you could always run other ritual options like Chaos Form or even additional copies of Red Eyes Fusion for this spot instead. And then the 3 copies of Preparation of Rites to then be able to search out our Illusion of Chaos. I'm fine with running 2 Illusion of Chaos and then 3 of this card, because once again we can recycle the Illusion of Chaos and then just search it off again with Preparation of Rites. And then the last of these spells being just 1 Call by the Grave, more of a way to stop our opponent's hand traps or any of their monsters that they may try to set up in the graveyard as well. With our traps being the 1 copy of Eternal Soul and the 1 Magician's Combination, just having more of a tribute option to special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl onto the field, which then can in turn be used to also get out one of our other fusions, being the Dark Magicians from the extra deck onto the field also, and then Eternal Soul having that additional special summon power, or the add and setup for Dark Magic Attack and 1000 Knives, which is also why I like to run those cards, because we have an actual search option in the form of a trap in the deck. With the rest of the main deck and the trap lineup just being our Infinite Impermanence lineup for the trap spot to use additionally for the hand traps, along with Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. For the extra deck, it's very funny how the extra deck lined up, because we have 5 of each monster for Fusion, Xyz, and Link, so 5, 5, 5 for each. For the fusions, we have 1 copy of the Dark Magicians, the 1 copy of the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, 1 Quintet Magician, along with the 1 Master of Chaos and the 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So just some of the more important fusions, with each one having a different purpose in the deck and each individual setup as well. Our Xyz monsters being 1 Ebon Illusion Magician, 1 Ebon High Magician, the 1 Naruto, the Morale Leader, the 1 number 11 Big Eye, and then the 1 Sky Crisis is more overlay power as well, having rank 7 options being our most common ones to use with the Dark Magician, and then being able to use Naruto for our Apprentice Illusion and Dark Magician Girl overlay if need be, with the Link monsters being more of an option of what to use our spellcasters for, so the 1 Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden, the 1 Link Spider, in case we need to reset up our Dark Magician in the graveyard to then be able to re-special summon out on the field again, the 1 Dark Charmer, along with the 1 SP Little Knight, and then finally the 1 Selene, Queen of Master Magicians. More special summon power as well. By removing these spell counters we can set up on her, by being able to just have more and more spell usage in the deck thanks to this card also. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as mentioned, best setup for, getting Dark Magician would be if we open up the Red Eyes Fusion. But other than that, we have more fusion options as well, and setup we can use in the form of cards like Magician's Rod and Magician's Soul, being the 3 of copy cards you run as well for this setup, and then being able to use cards like Magician's Soul to send our Spellcaster monster from the deck to the graveyard, to then have the option to either send it from the hand to the graveyard to special summon back that monster as well, which gives us that play for the initial summon, since we just send this card as well for the play of being able to have that monster, and then the additional normal summon of our other monster could be Magician's Rod, which then Magician's Rod can be used to search and set up some additional cards like the Eye of Timaeus, which can then be used to then activate to tribute the Dark Magician to then go into our fusion play with just that monster for the tribute, so we can summon out Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, off of this 1 summon, and then your opponent cannot target spell traps you control as well. So if we set up any of the additional traps, like we mentioned, if we have the Field Splay Pal, to use Magician's Salvation to then set up the Eternal Soul. We can then have this card be protected thanks to our Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, activated on our opponent's turn to summon back the Dark Magician as well, and then all the more if we have cards like Dark Magical Circle set up ready to use for a banish play, or cards like Soul Servant to reset up cards in the graveyard and give us more of a draw power to then on the next turn use those cards once again for the same setup in the graveyard play for another spellcaster also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. I always like updating the Dark Magician deck. I always change a few things here and there with each update, and as a year goes by, I always feel an update is due, especially for one of the King of Games' favorite decks to use. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.